Hey, welcome back. Hope everybody is having a great Saturday, and thank you so much for joining me talking all things Masters of the Universe. Today on the channel, guys, we're doing part 2 of looking at the fearsome cats of the Masters of the Universe line for over 40 years, from Battle Cat to Panthor. Part 1 was mostly the origins, it was the origins line with Battle Cat and Panthor and Duplicat and Anti-Eternia Battle Cat, which was a customization origins figure. But today we'll be focusing more on the 2000X line, the Classics line, the CGI line versions, and of course the MasterVerse versions. Now, the reason why I'm doing this, of course, of the announcement of finally getting a Panthor in the MasterVerse line, something that's I feel that's been long overdue, and I'm very excited for it because I'm a big Panthor fan, believe it or not, and I cannot wait to get Panthor finally in the MasterVerse line. And the funny thing is that I'm looking forward to getting Panthor in the MasterVerse line over, the Serpent's Lair from Origins. I prefer getting Panthor over the Serpent's Lair playset. So, that speaks volumes, So, I don't know how you guys feel. I hope you guys are feeling the same way. Finally getting a MasterVerse version of Panthor. So I thought today it would be kind of fun to look at all the versions of Battle Cat and Panthor I have in my collection. Like I said, this is part 2. So check out part 1 if you would like to go look at the vintage versions of Battle Cat and Panthor and all the origins versions of Battle Cat and Panthor. And of course, if you are new to my channel or first time watching, I hope you will subscribe afterwards. I hope everyone hits that like button, and thank you so much for doing that. Hit the notification bell when you know of new videos, and please share this video who has a passion and a love for collecting all things Masters of the Universe. Without further ado, let's take a look at some more Battle Cat and Panthor. Now, the first one I have to give props to Pixel Dan and Dark Horse Comics to look at the 2000X version of Battle Cat, and here he is. There's old Battle Cat right there. The 2000X line came out in 2002. There he is. So Battle Cat. Now, I'm a big fan of this Battle Cat, and I love the cartoon, but for some reason, I don't remember Battle Cat in the cartoon having rockets on him. I think that's an added feature for this version of Battle Cat. Let me turn my light on here. Maybe I'll help out a little bit here. My camera light on. There we go. So there he is. There's old Battle Cat. There he is. And I always liked this style Battle Cat. I love the armor he came with. There he is, the 2000X version of He-Man. There he is, front to back, side to side. All those added cool features. Got the rockets and the missiles. There's his claws right there. Alright. But, for over the years, of over 40 plus years, we have gotten so many different variants of Battle Cat. There was another version of Battle Cat I'm going to show you here in a minute here. So I get the picture. And then right here, we got the Megabyte Battle Cat. Came out 2 years later. There's old Battle Cat right there. With these big, massive chompers right there. I mean, variety of different weapons. I mean, crazy, crazy. Part of the rise of the Snakeman line, the 2000X version right here. There it is. Alright. Very, very cool. Alright. Of course, we have to look at Panthor in this universe. Let's see, there's a He-Man. There he is. So we got a flock version of Panthor. And I gotta say, one of the main things I loved about the 2000X line is, and they showed Panthor, in the Filmation cartoon, but not as heavily in the 2000X line cartoon. I remember seeing Panthor quite a bit, sitting on the throne of Skeletor, and I just thought that was the coolest thing, finally seeing more of Panthor. And because that was something I really wished that the Filmation cartoon did more, is, show more Panthor. He was there, but not as much as the 2000X line. But there he is in toy form right there. Came out in 2002, the same time when Battle Cat came out, with his own versions of rockets and missiles. This version is flocked right there. Very, very cool. There he is in packaging. Alright. Awesome. Look at that. So I'm really hoping, I really hope that, the MasterVerse version of Panthor will be flocked. Alright. Now moving on to my first actual figure I have. we'll look at the MasterVerse figure of Battle Cat. Unfortunately, you know, we are getting Panthor, which I believe it might be just a repaint of Battle Cat here. But I have two versions of that particular Battle Cat. Here he is, loose. Of course, we have the standard version, deluxe version, which I believe was only a Target exclusive, right here. Which is this figure right here. There he is in the packaging. So I'm kind of curious of what the packaging is going to look like for Panthor, for us collectors. For us, I'm curious also if it's going to be like a Mattel Creations exclusive figure for us collectors. But there's old Battle Cat, and what's kind of funny about this Battle Cat here, is, you know, if you do have him, this version of Battle Cat, it's pretty much Battle Cat, the fighting tiger right there, a little bio right there. I mean, amazing, gorgeous artwork right there. I mean, of him with He-Man about to take on the bad guys. But right here, when you remove the mask, you have, you know, for Cringer. So basically, you have a very oversized version of Cringer in this line, which I never liked. You know, I mean, it's cool, it's a cool idea, but Cringer has never been the size of Battle Cat for the most. I mean, Cringer's always been a smaller, you know, frail, you know, scaredy cat, you know, best I can call it, but not this big, monstrous, you know, cat right here. So I think that was always kind of funny to me, you know, to say that, you know, you just remove the mask and there's your Cringer. I never liked that, you know. If this was, you know, if they could change it up a little bit, you know, back then, you know, if they would have given us a Cringer figure to go along with Battle Cat, like two separate cats, in this deluxe packaging, see, that would have been perfect for me, you know. So I never liked the fact that, you know, just removing the mask and the armor, you have your own version of Cringer, which I'd never liked because of how big this Battle Cat is. He's right here. I mean, look how massive this thing is. And I'm sure, you know, with Panthor that we're gonna get, it's probably the same style and same height and same width, and you know, so yeah. But there you go. He was part of Wave 1, and so it's been a long time, since Wave 1, since 2020. Since we got this version of Battle Cat, and like I said, it's like long overdue to get Panthor. You know, if they're going to be using, you know, the same mold, you know, for Panthor, like for Battle Cat, you know, I mean, they should have been done a long time ago. But we did get also, and I do have him right here, the Virgo Abloh tribute Panthor figure, the Mattel Creations exclusive figure, and it's basically the chocolate form, or like the mold form of Battle Cat here. So there he is. Alright. And believe it or not, this is like only my really loose version of Battle Cat in this universe. You know, besides the Origins figures. And this was a Target exclusive. Looks great. You can take the head off. You can take the helmet off here. Right there. Give you that more of that Cringer-esque feel. And I can see it in the face. This is kind of like Cringer. Let me turn the light off here. I hope that's up. So yeah, you have that, you know, the Cringer-looking, you know, version of him with the big like tooth right there that Cringer's known for. But to me, still, you know, I feel like this is not Cringer. You know, this is way too big to be that. So unfortunately, you know, that's not Cringer in my mind, right? But pretty cool. I mean, a big, gorgeous-looking Battle Cat here. All right. Now, I will admit, and I think I said this in part 1, that I have more Battle Cat than Panthor. So that's why I'm so excited to finally get a new Panthor in my collection. And I need to, like, you know, hit the gas and, you know, track down a vintage-style Panthor, you know, from the Mo 2 line, because that's one of my favorite figures, you know, out there. You know, to own and collect. And I gotta get in gear and hit the gas and look for one for my collection, you know, in the vintage 80s line of Panthor and Battle Cat as well. All right, now moving right along, we have the CGI line, and this is the Battle Cat that came with that line right here. Very unique version of Battle Cat. Now, with this version of Battle Cat, you know, in this universe, I'm sure you guys are aware, this multiverse of He-Man, this line did it a little differently. You know, everyone in this universe knew He-Man, that was Adam, and everyone drew the power of Grayskull, and Battle-Cat was no different. He also called upon the power of Grayskull to, transform himself. It's not like, vintage He-Man where he called down the power of Grayskull and he pointed the power sword to Cringer to transform into Battle-Cat. No, this version of Battle-Cat was the same size. He had no claws, he had no bite, so he was very, pretty much a like Cringer, I guess. He didn't have any bite, or no, he was not menacing, he wasn't fierce, he was just a normal, like, sized cat. As best I can to explain it, and if it's kind of confusing, I apologize. So when he calls down the power of Grayskull, he gets the armor, he gets the really cool, power claws here. This is supposed to be like the power of Grayskull here, the yellow here, and so when he calls down the power of Grayskull, he gets the armor and he gets the the claws and everything like that. And his mouth articulated. I love the armor he comes with this version of Battle-Cat here. He looks awesome. And this is a line I do stress that I wish that Mattel would have pushed on us a little bit harder. I only found this version of Battle-Cat. I never found it at retail. In fact, retail, in my area, I can't speak for you guys, never like really pushed and never put these out. And I had to like track this down online to find one. That's why I only have one in my collection. I gotta find if I can find a second one, I'll definitely get one. Down the road, but they never really pushed this line, and I get it. This is my third favorite line, in this whole, modern day He-Man collecting, Origins first, MasterVerse first, and this line, and so if they really pushed this line hard enough, a little bit more than what they did, and, retail would have put these out, I would have definitely gotten me a second version of this Battle-Cat or any other CGI versions of this line, because this is a great line. I love this line. Personally, I love the look of this Battle-Cat here. He looks great. There he is. I like the fact this open packaging here is that we can actually look at it and see it has that power attack version. I don't think the helmet can be removed, but you got articulated jaw right there. Look at that. Very cool. Very, very cool. So, sorry for that. But there he is right there riding He-Man. Well, He-Man's riding Battle-Cat right there. But look at that. Look, awesome looking version of Battle-Cat here with this power attack version right there. Alright. Now, as far as Panthor was concerned in this universe, there was no Panthor figure, but what they did was, if this line would have continued and the show had continued, I'm sure at some point we would have gotten a Panthor figure in this universe, in the CGI universe. So the only closest thing I have Panthor in the CGI line was this right here. This is Skeletor right there riding Panthor. Like, it says Panthor. I'm just going to turn the light on. Maybe I'll help out. Hang on. Oops. So it says Panthor. It says Skeletor with Panthor or Panthor. I don't know what the mixed print is about that. So it's a motorcycle that's supposed to represent Panthor in this universe. So that's the only closest Panthor we got in the CGI line was this motorcycle. But I have no doubt if this line would have continued and to grow, and more seasons of the show, I have no doubt in my mind that we would have gotten a Panthor, version like this in the CGI line. But this is the closest version we got right here. All right. So moving on right along here, we got to look at the classics versions of Battle-Cat. But first, let me see here, I can find it here. Okay. So here is the classics version of Battle-Cat. So here he is. There's old Battle-Cat right there in the 2000X line. The classics line. There he is. Awesome. Look at that. Gorgeous figure right there. There he is in packaging. There he is with the helmet off, front to back, side to side, right there. A little fun factoid. I will pause that. You guys want to read that? But here's another thing. Right next to him, if you did watch the 2000X show, there was a couple episodes that showed off their version or their universe's King Grayskull figure, or King Grayskull on that cartoon, and he had Battle Lion, and I would love, look at that, I would love to get a Battle Lion version of Origins for the King Grayskull figure. I think that would be awesome. Look at that, getting a Battle Lion in Origins for King Grayskull. Come on now, look at that. That is awesome right there. That is amazing. Battle Lion. Even MasterVerse line too. I would love to get a Battle Lion for MasterVerse or Origins. Alright. So we got Beastman here. Right. Okay, and here's Cringer. This is the only Cringer, figure that we got. And I said this yesterday in the video. They came with that Queen Marlena, or Captain Glenn, or I call it Queen Marlena. But he came with her. But there he is, and he was just a little statue. There's no articulation. It felt that vibe of the '80s line of Battle Cat and Panthor. No articulation. A very small little version of Cringer here. But he looks pretty cool. All right. And finally, we've got to look at old Panthor here. Where's he at? Here, you got. Where's he at? Attorney of Guards. We got Leech here. I got to go through my book here, guys. He's nearby. Where are you at, Panthor? There is all Panthor. There he is. And this version of Panthor, I'm getting more of that MasterVerse vibe, because I think this is the first time we got this type of armor with Panthor, I believe. And I love that armor with the horns right there. That looks amazing. There he is. Came out in 2011, as you can see. There he is in packaging. Now, the one problem, that I do see, is the fact that it's not flocked. We didn't get a flocked version of this particular Panthor. And I'm curious if we're going to do the same thing, like do a repeat with the MasterVerse version. Because when I saw that version of Panthor, on screen from the Comic-Con, I didn't see it flocked. I saw just a normal version, plastic version of Panthor. And I don't know, and that's my only concern, my only turn away about that. It's not flocked. So I don't know if they're going to do a special edition version like they did with Origins. But I'm still excited. I'm still excited to get this Panthor in MasterVerse. But this version of Classic looks absolutely amazing right there. Alright. And to finish up, my Fearsome Fearline cats, I got a few little miniature figures. I got this version of Battle Cat right here. This is kind of one of my smallest versions of Battle Cat right here. There he is. You get the Filmation cartoon version right there, or the glamour shot of He-Man right there. Of course, the cross-cell. And I wish I can find all the rest of these guys for my collection, these micro minis here. Then I got these little guys right here, a little flock version of Panthor and Battle Cat. There you go. Pretty cool. And I do have a couple versions at Funko Pops of Panthor and Battle Cat in my collection, which is weird. And one thing is weird about this. So here is my standard version of Battle Cat, which was a Walmart exclusive, right here, with He-Man riding. Turn the light off here. Hang on, guys. If that works. So here is the standard Walmart version of Battle. Maybe turn it back on. Hang on. So this version is just standard. It's not anything special. Now, a couple years later, about a year ago later, after that, we got this version of He-Man and Battle Cat, which is the same version, but they gave us a flock, for the first time, I don't know why, they gave us a flock version of Battle Cat, which is kind of odd to me. This should have been, to me personally, should have been Panthor and Skeletor, with the flock version of Panthor, not Battle Cat. I don't remember a time. Maybe there was a time, at some point, there was a flock version, in toy version, of a Battle Cat flocked. This is the only version I have of Battle Cat that's flocked. And this was a Target exclusive. Right there, a Target Con exclusive right there, flocked. Alright. And it's the same exact figure. It's just, and the packaging is different as well. You can see the different styles of packaging right there. But we can't, I do have a Skeletor and Panthor. Right, right here. Kind of mimics, or like, you got... There's Skeletor and Panthor, which is not flocked. So I was always hoping to get a flock version of Panthor, like this style with Battle Cat, with He-Man, but they never made one. So it's kind of a, I feel like they dropped the ball there, not doing that. But as you can see with the two, the riding about to go into battle, I love that. But I do love this Panthor figure here. I love Skeletor here. It looks great, right there. Looks awesome. But yeah, I was really hoping maybe Funko did make a Panthor flock version. I never found it. Let me know in the comments below. If they did make a Funko Pop version of Panthor flocked with Skeletor riding him. But I love that. But there you go, everybody. There's look at all my fierce cats. The history of Battle Cat and Panthor. Like I said, I cannot wait. I'm looking forward and getting Panthor in MasterVerse, something that I feel like it's been long overdue, for us collectors, at least for me, I'm so excited to get Panthor in a, and speaking of cats, I can't wait for the, for the Thundercats to come, to the, I don't know if it's going to be Origins or, the MasterVerse line. I'm assuming it's supposed to be Origins for the Thundercats to come. I mean, I'm looking forward for that. Like I said, I'm looking forward to, a lot of things. One thing I'm really concerned about, is, in a few days, we're going to be getting the announcement of the Serpent Slayer. And I'm hearing a lot of, Pixel Dan, did a poll about that, if people are looking forward to getting the new playset, if they're going to buy it or not, or back it up. And for the most part, they said no. And I'm undecided right now. I am, on the fence right now until we look at it and get more detail about it. The price and what's going to be included in the tiers. Then I'll make my decision. I want to see first. I want to see how it's going as far as people buying it or backing it up. If it's going very smoothly and it's backing up, it's going to it's going to actually back up. And we're going to get this. And definitely might get it or not. But I mean, man, I know I'm kind of rambling on here, everybody, but I'm on the fence right now, and I'm curious about what your thoughts and feelings about the Serpent Slayer. Are you gonna, are you gonna get it? Are you gonna back it up? Are you gonna, try to get this massive play set, or are you gonna wait and see what happens? So, like me, I'm gonna wait and see. I'm gonna definitely wait and see, and hopefully it's going to be at a reasonable price, and I'm very curious what's going to be included. And I think, of course, one thing that's going to be included is that new vehicle, which to me is cool, but you can, you can always make that separate. You can always, put that off into a different separate, its own thing, and you can do your own, that own, for Mattel Creations, its own exclusive vehicle. You can take that off, and by doing that, you can probably mark down the price a little bit, of the playset by taking and removing that gigantic vehicle, that vintage vehicle that never came, it was, so if you remove that vehicle from the playset and make it its own thing later down the road, for us collectors, I think that will mark down the price, of the, for a more reasonable price. So I think that's one of the exclusives. Of course, the Lady Slither figure who's got the bones on her is another exclusive. So I'm very curious. And I know I'm kind of rambling on about the about the playset, but I'm just curious. I'm just very curious, like you. I'm anxious and waiting to see what happens. So we gotta stay tuned. All right. So once that comes out on Monday, I might talk about that. About the playset, the price. What's included. If you're gonna, if I'm gonna get it or not. And I like to hear your feedback as well. All right. But once again, guys, I'd like to take the time now to, of course, thank my subscribers. All right, thank you so much for joining me, talking all things Battle Cat. Like I said, what's been your favorite version of Battle Cat and Panthor in your collection? I mean, there's a variety of great Battle Cats and Panthors for over 40 years of this amazing line. All right, so what's been your favorite versions of these fierce cats? All right. Of course, hit that notification bell when you upload new videos. And tomorrow, we're talking about more Master Universe. I'm going to talk about, I don't know. It's something I'm just thinking in my head, like what we can talk about. I might do a revisit, look at all the different variants, from the 80s versions of He-Man, the 2000X line and Origins. We have the vintage 80s line to the cartoon, like look at all the different variants and versions of He-Man and Skeletor in the Origins line, from his first wave to the latest wave of the Turtles of Grayskull line. So you name it, guys, we'll talk about it. And so I hope you will join me for that, you know, starting on Sunday. All right. So I hope you guys have a great Saturday, and I'll see you guys on Sunday. Take care, and have a good one, everybody.